Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We are on day number 20. We're marching along here, almost about 3/4 of the way done, and we're going to finish off the NFC South today with a deep dive into the Atlanta Falcons. As always, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any of our team previews and all of our season-long NFL free picks. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash that like button for the NFL season, which is so close you can taste it. So smash that like button. NFL season is just around the corner. And before we get into the Falcons season preview, just a reminder, we are giving away $1,000 here at Grandstand Bettors for the NFL season. That $1,000 can be won in our NFL contest. Yes, we're having an NFL betting contest over at grandstandbettors.com. It's absolutely free. Make sure that you guys go on over there and check it out. While you're over at grandstandbettors.com, make sure you become part of our family and start living that grandstand life. But hey, without further ado, let's dive into the Atlanta Falcons season preview. And to do so, we really need to look back at 2020. And in all honesty, it was a very disappointing season for the Atlanta Falcons with a 4-12 record. They finished well under their preseason over, which was set at 8. Their defense was absolutely horrendous, and it really showed their inability to close out games. In weeks 2 and 3 last season, the Falcons were beating the Cowboys by 19 points at halftime and the Bears by 16 going into the fourth quarter, and they gave up over 20 points to both teams, ended up losing both those games, and really, that was a common trend for the season, as their offense would look very good for about half of the game, while looking like their defense was just awful. They gave up 25 points per game last season, and ranked dead last in their pass defense. They gave up 293 yards per game. Now, lingering injuries to Julio Jones last season and an awful run game that was led by Todd Gurley with only 678 yards rushing all season really hurt their offense. Their defense was really overlooked by Vegas last season, as there was obviously nowhere near hitting the over there, and besides Calvin Ridley, they really had no one to help once MVP Matt Ryan carry that offense. To bounce back this season, the Falcons needed to rebuild their defense and add some offensive weapons to help Matt Ryan. If we want to get into a preview for their 2021 season, let's first look at some key offseason moves that the Falcons made. The first and most important one that is not going to help Matt Ryan is getting Julio Jones over to the Tennessee Titans. We did see an emergence of Calvin Ridley last season, who stepped in when Julio was out, as he notched 90 receptions with 1,374 yards. So there's definitely some promise there. But defenses now know exactly who to guard and who to shut down, so this offense is not going to have that threat. The only addition they made at this spot was signing Cordell Patterson from the Bears, but frankly, this guy's not a guy that's going to fill Julio Jones' spot, so they're going to be in trouble heading into the 2021 season at the wideout position. Now, the Falcons released Todd Gurley and were able to sign Mike Davis from the Panthers. If you remember, Davis served as a great backup to McCaffrey last season in Carolina. He got a lot of playing time because of McCaffrey's injuries, but the numbers he put up were not much better really than Gurley's, as he ran for only 642 yards and 6 touchdowns. Gonna be honest, had the guy on my fantasy team, didn't really help me all that much. I probably could have taken a lot better players who were getting less playing time and more yardage. So unless this guy has a breakout season, we do not see this as really a major addition that's going to impact the offense here, especially considering the offensive line that's blocking for him. They gave up 41 sacks last season and contributed to a really bad run game that ended up being 27th in the league last season. Unfortunately, though, they were unable to make any acquisitions that would help this line. They have a few remaining players who should have an improved season this year, but major additions would have really helped this unit. If we dive into their draft a little bit, the Falcons got tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida with the 4th pick in the draft. He's going to be one of the most talented players coming out of this draft, and he could really be used as a wide receiver as well. He runs a 4.440, and he can line up there as he did in Florida. This guy's going to be a major threat down the field, and we think he'll be used more as a wideout to fill Julio's spot than he will be to keep Hayden Hurst in that rotation, blocking instead of a blocking tight end. So in the third round, the Falcons selected offensive tackle Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. This guy surely will be competing for a starting spot leading up to week number 1 and could help this unit quite a bit, which we mentioned last year struggled protecting Matt Ryan with those 41 sacks. Now, the rest of the picks, besides a wide receiver in the 6th round and the Falcons selecting an assortment of defensive players to provide some depth at the roster and some new prospects to try up, they really didn't fix up anything in particular. A couple offseason defensive moves we forgot to mention, though, were signing safeties Eric Harris and Raider Duron Harmon from the Lions, edge rusher Jonathan Bullard from the Seahawks, and Fabian Moreau from the Washington football team. All these guys most likely are going to be starters on the season, and they're going to be big contributors, especially at the safety position. The Falcons have the 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL, which could have not come at a better time, as they're looking to rebuild their defense and add some pieces to their offense. Their divisional games, though, are not easy. We have them splitting against New Orleans and Carolina, but losing both games to the Bucs and Brady, which gives them really only 2 wins through 6 games. The rest of their NFC opponents are the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Washington, Lions, and 49ers. We have them beating the Eagles and Lions at home, but also losing to the Giants and Cowboys on the road early in the season. We have them losing to games against Washington, since Washington has a much better defense, and to the 49ers, which is late in the season, and they'll be probably playing for a playoff spot. So really, it only gives them 4 wins with 5 games left against their AFC opponents. These matchups are going to feature New England, the Jets, trips to Buffalo, Miami, and Jacksonville. And we do have them winning 3 of the 5 games, which puts them right at 7 wins, below their win total of 7.5 right now. This could be a close one, but given the state of the Falcons' defense, we could see them blowing a couple leads late in the season and late in games. Maybe not the extent of a 20-point blow that they did almost twice last season, which was just ridiculous. But this could keep them under here. So we're going to take the Falcons under 7.5 for their season. Falcon fans, to be honest, put your comments in there below. Let us know, what do you think the Falcons are going to do this season? I'm going to be honest, I have the Falcons QB Matt Ryan on my fantasy team in my dynasty. This is probably the last year I'm going to use him, but I really hope he has a big year. I hope we're wrong on this pick. I hope they go over maybe 10 or 11 wins somehow, and Matt Ryan has a big year. But Falcons fans, put down below in the comments how you think the season's going to play out. From those of us here at Grandstand Bettors, as always, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, we are going to dive into the NFC East. But sit back, relax, enjoy the weekend of preseason games, and we'll see you tomorrow.